What we're doing right now is we got an old fish tank, and we're blocking out all the light because our grafts need 48 hours without light to heal, and then we will pull all this black landscape fabric off once we are ready to introduce the plants to light. Okay, so see the light starting to get excluded. We got fabric on the top now. The last step is we'll get another piece that can kind of like drop down over the front. We'll probably pinch it up on here, and then we're also going to cover this with saran wrap after our plants go in, so you'll see that eventually. Alright, so we've got our healing chamber done. Let's see, we got, you just lift this bad boy up. This is where the plants are going to go. We've got all our tools here. We got our saran wrap that's going to go on that fish tank to keep as much moisture in as possible. We have our ISO and our water. So this one's ISO. So this will keep everything clean. We'll spray down all our razor blades, our clips. We've got two types of grafting clips. And then once the tomatoes and everything are grafted in the chamber, we're going to use our water to keep the moisture levels high in there, so they transpire without the ability to take up water through their roots. They'll be okay. Alright, so this is how you graft. So we got all our supplies laid out. We've got our rootstock and our scions. We've got a razor blade, ISO. We're going to clean off our surface and our clips to start. So we'll spray this guy down with some ISO, wipe it off, spray our clips, wipe them off, and clean off our surface. Some people say you can use a bleach solution, really anything that just keeps it clean. So now we're going to take our rootstock and our scion. Hopefully these two are about the same size. You want to pair them up to where they're two equal sized stems. So this one might be more like what we're looking for. And if it doesn't work, you can always just go over here, pick one that looks like it lines up a little better. So I think this one is a good match. So now what you want to do is you can find where they're most closely the same size, about right there, and you lay them down. Take your razor blade and cut them at the same time, so you have the same cut and it grafts together well. So just like that. So now you can take the extra leaves off. You want to reduce the transpiration. You can kind of just slice them like that. If you got to hold it to slice it, you can do that too. Okay, so this one's going to this side. This one's going to this side. Get the rest of these leaves off. We only want like one set of leaves on the plant. Now you take your clip. This one's kind of leaning sideways. I don't know how well it's going to work, but let's try to get it on there as close as possible. Want to really make sure you line it up. Okay, there we go. So let's try the second one now. Cut the leaves. Get the clip. This one looks like it's going to hold a little better. It's more straight up. The other one was kind of leaning to the side. Boom. Yeah, I got a lot of confidence in that one. Again, another example. Cut. Cut these. Alright, so this is the part where you really got to make sure you got the right size clip. See how we have different clips for different sizes? So this is a little thinner. This is really the bread and butter right here. You got to make sure you get that perfectly lined up with your cut, just like that. And then make sure it's touching even after. Alright, even after you put the clip on. So you can look in on the side. You see how they're touching, nice. Really got to make sure it's touching, and then you can move on. We've got all of our grafts completed. So what we're gonna do, there they are. See that? Oh, we're gonna spray them down, mist them real good. You wanna do this like 3 times a day for the next few days, week really. Just get that humidity way up in there. Okay, so now you can see we've got our saran wrap on there. I'm gonna tape it on, but it's covering it. It's keeping all the humidity in. And I left a little gap up top here, so during the week we can come in, so we can mist them throughout the week. And you really want to just use as much as you can, just soak them. And you're gonna want to do this like 3 times a day if possible. And once you got that, push that back up, drop this cover back down, and for 48 hours we'll leave those plants in the darkness, let them heal. Okay, so now it's been a little over 48 hours since we checked on our grafts. So you can see some didn't make it, but that's expected. We got a lot that will be successful. So today there they are. Today we'll take off some of this landscape fabric and introduce them to a little bit of light. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take off this top layer of saran wrap for the time being, so we can get that landscape fabric out of there and introduce some light. So we put that back up. And now we want to mist them. So I'm going to grab my mister. Got died. 25% success rate is pretty good, especially if you've never done it before. Don't feel bad if your grafts didn't live. I bet we have at least one that makes it though. So now we're gonna just keep monitoring them and spraying them as the week goes on, and eventually we'll introduce more light. It's been a week now since we've done it, so now we can turn on more lights. We probably have maybe 25% success rate. We've been misting them every day. So we're going to go ahead and plug in our other 2 lights now, and we can remove all the rest of our landscape fabric. And we're still going to leave this saran wrap on here a little longer, keep the humidity high in there, but some of them are looking really good. Others are still kind of healing, but they'll probably make it. So we pulled our landscape fabric out, turned on all of our lights. Looks like we have about 27 out of 60. There might be a couple more that don't make it. We got rid of the ones that didn't make it, composted them. So now we're gonna just keep misting them for another few days, and then eventually we'll take the clips off. You can see they've all healed. The ones that made it, we had about 6 or 7 that lived out of the 60, so we had about 10% success. You can see now, should be able to take this clip off. You see? So it's all healed.